Now we're going to touch on the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is the two big powers that are on Jamaican soil. The two big powers that are on Jamaican soil. The Mandarin speakers and the English speakers. The Mandarin speakers and the English speakers. Who remembered when Kari Lake said this?
Up first this evening, President Donald Trump's nominee for the United States, Ambassador to Jamaica Kari Lake, pledged to strengthen security cooperation with Kingston and push back against China's growing influence in the Caribbean if confirmed to the diplomatic post. She made the assertion Thursday at a confirmation hearing before the United States Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
Kari Lake is one step closer to becoming the U.S. ambassador to Jamaica. The former television journalist and close Donald Trump ally was grilled before the Senate committee on Thursday on a range of issues. She's promising to hit the ground running if confirmed. Among the issues at the top of her agenda, to create opportunities in Jamaica for American businesses, raising concern about China's growing influence in the country.
Right now, as we know, when we're competing with for a contract or a tender with the CCP or CCP-controlled company, oftentimes they'll underbid the United States. We want to make sure that we're working with Jamaica to make sure that there's a level playing field so that American businesses have a real shot to do great work. We know that we provide better quality work. We hire Jamaicans, and we want to make sure that we're assisting and also allowing for American companies to expand.
Another concern.
Right now, the Chinese have a massive stake in one of the key ports in Kingston. I think they have a 49% control over it, and that puts us at risk. And so we need to rebalance things and work with the Jamaican government on that. There's massive concerns.
You hear what she say? Right now, China has a massive minority stake in one of the key ports. So that got me thinking. Deep divers. Why are they so interested in that key port? Both countries. So we already know that ACOM, a U.S. company, is conducting security assessment at Jamaica's ports. We also already know that China said no ties that they have just benefits them. They also said China always respects the LAC, including Jamaica, as Jamaica is a Caribbean country. And their cooperation does not target any third party and should not be subject to interference by any third party. So we know that. But, deep divers, it got me thinking, why is US so hell-bent on trying to secure Jamaica's port? Who owns and operates the Jamaican port? Tell me go deeper tonight. Tell me to go deeper tonight, deep divers. We're going deeper tonight. Nobody not tell me go deeper? We're going deeper tonight. Deep divers, I think it is best that I give you the knowledge. It is best I give you the knowledge. Let me give you the knowledge. CMA, CGM are the operators of the Kingston port. If you don't believe me, go and check Port Authority of Jamaica. CMA, CGM are the operators and administrators of the Kingston port. It is managed through KFTL. So if you know nobody where I look no work, or you know nobody where wanna work, they have to go through a company called Kingston Freeport Terminal Limited. If they want to work on the wharf, at the ports. CMA, CGM, I think you should know, is a French company. CMA, CGM is a French-owned company. But we know so they're not really business about the French-owned companies, them. They only care about what is happening with China. Are China them business about, you know? China them business about, right? So if a China them business about, make we look at what China is saying. So the company that holds a significant minority stake in KFTL is called China Merchant Port Holdings. But they hold a minority stake. They don't actually do anything on the port. Them just have a minority stake in KFTL. At that guan, you know. At that guan. So, KFTL, the Port of Kingston, is under a 30-year concession. Again, check Port Authority of Jamaica. While the French shipping company retains majority ownership and controls the day-to-day operation of the joint venture. So CMA own 51, China Merchant own 49. So it no, you know? And I think that was very strategic of the Chinese. You know why? Because they know say time ago come where it will be questioned. Them know. But we are go deeper. J.D. Vance, while he was running, said this.
Build its middle class off the backs of the American middle class. I really don't want to go to war with a country that makes all of our antibiotics when I've got 3 little kids at home. So
J.D. Vance claims that American leaders allowed China to rise by destroying the U.S. middle class. That's an interesting take. But is it the truth or just a convenient excuse for decades of failed policy? Today we're fact-checking his Quincy Institute speech with the data he left out. From the 800 million people lifted out of poverty to the real reason your iPhone says designed in California. Let's get into it.
And if there is something that should worry all of us, I think it's not that China is showing more belligerence in East Asia, though that certainly should worry us. It's not that China is sort of expanding its scope into South America, into Africa as part of the Belt and Road Initiative, though, again, I do think that should worry us. It's that China, based and because of the stupidity of Washington leaders over the past generation, is now arguably the most powerful industrial economy in the world. Okay, if we're going to lose a war, it will be because we have allowed our primary rival to become arguably our most powerful industrial competitor.
You know, let's start with this idea of belligerence. It's fascinating to hear an American politician complain about belligerence when the U.S. maintains roughly 800 military bases in over 80 countries. Since 2001, U.S. military interventions in places like Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and Yemen have resulted in over 940,000 direct deaths. While Washington exports security through military bases and drone strikes, Beijing exports infrastructure through the Belt and Road Initiative. They build ports, railways, and bridges, but you can't argue with the fact that China hasn't dropped a bomb on another country in the last 40 years. Let's look at some concrete examples. The Addis Ababa-Djibouti Railway, completed in 2016, is a $4 billion, 750-kilometer electrified railway that created over 55,000 jobs in Ethiopia and Djibouti, with training for more than 3,000 professional railway workers. In Kenya, the Belt and Road Initiative has supported port improvements at Mombasa and infrastructure projects aligned with Kenya's Vision 2030 development goals. In 2023 alone, African countries received $21.7 billion in BRI deals for ports, railways, and renewable energy. Now compare this to what the U.S. military does in the same regions. They maintain bases, conduct drone strikes, and destabilize governments. One approach builds, the other destroys. But Vance gives the game away at the end of the clip. If we're going to...
So, deep divers. So if it is that China is such a bad thing for Jamaica, if China is such a bad thing for Jamaica, why them a help with so much? I'm not saying that China is all good. But the same cannot be said about the United States of America. Thank you, Kesu. I am not saying that China is all good. But take a Kianko spot, deep divers. If they follow the law as established, then it's all fair game. It is all fair game. So what do you expect us to do now when you are forcing our hand? So they are willing to build the road for us and say, all right, I'm going to build the road for you, but pay me so and so and so and so and so. Give me this and this and this and this. What are the United States offering? Because them just come in and them just say, all right, you have to go tell them to go on. You have to go tell them to go on. You have to go move this over here. So you have to go do this and just come like on a Gaddafi. What we can say is that China never interferes in local governance. China does not interfere in local governance. We can always say that. Do they have their agendas? Yes. But what now should we do if it is deep divers that America is forcing our hand? And this is why I will say with my chest, it is my opinion that I appreciate that though Portia got funding from the Chinese, she didn't implement anything. She was supposed to build roads through China Harbor Engineering, and it was delayed. Remember who come and start it. Remember who come and start it, deep divers. Why you should remember? Remember because there was an issue about the government taking too long to implement projects. So much so that the opposition was called the Jamaica Pipeline Party. Our Pipeline National Party or something like so. So now all of these projects now are coming to fruition. All of these projects are coming to fruition now. So what now should we do? Because remember, anybody will pay the piper, play the tune. So who is the piper in this? Who is the piper? I don't have any evidence that China is in anybody's local. I don't have any evidence of that. I don't have any evidence. So now, Jamaica is in the middle of a trade war. And because of how we are located geographically, it is going to be very interesting. Because our port, being the 7th largest in the world, our port, being so close to Panama, is strategic for both nations. Both nations. I don't know what will happen. But what I can tell you, it is going to be interesting. It is going to be very, very, very interesting. It is going to be interesting. Deep divers, I want you to turn your attention over here a little bit. Turn your attention over here a little bit. We will protect our assets in Jamaica. That's what the Chinese embassy says. They will protect their assets in Jamaica. I don't know what that means, because that can mean anything. Because at the end of the day, China has roots here. And America would have invested here as well. So when Kari Lake comes, what will be the first 100 days? What will be her mandate? Her mandate, deep divers, is going to be interesting for the first 100 days. What exactly are we hoping to see